Fear me, mortals.
Brandon's having fun.
That's good. That's good.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Rambling Knave. I'm Brandon.
And I am Become Death.
The Destroyer of Worlds?
Something like that, yeah.
Fair enough.
Enrico Fermi.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm Noah, today's resident Godzilla expert.
This week on the Rambling Knave, we will be talking about Godzilla.
Obviously.
Obviously. We didn't just put these up here for no reason. Because the Godzilla movie is coming out from this episode. It'll probably be like 2 days from this episode. So that's what we're doing. But we're going to be talking about our favorite Godzilla enemies, our least favorite Godzilla enemies, and some what-if situations. Like, what if Godzilla fought this?
And on that note, for the Knave, I will be ranking all 34 of the Godzilla movies as special bonus content. So yes, look for that, because that's the kind of free time I have on my hands.
And we did promise you new content like
A while
yeah,
ago.
like a month and a half ago, and we're still working on it, but we all work actual jobs and have other lives outside of this, and since we don't get paid for this, please pay us. Since we don't get paid for this,
Please pay us.
it's hard to actually get that content going, but we have been working on it. I know we sound desperate, but
We are.
we are. So we're not going to lie about that. We just want to be your friends on the internet. That's all we want. We just want friends.
Let's get started.
Let's start with shitty villains. Noah, who is your least favorite Godzilla villain?
Okay, so Godzilla has fought a lot of other monsters. Some of them are iconic, and some of them have actually been worthwhile. They presented a credible threat. Some of them, on the other hand, and mostly from the Showa series, the original 15 movies, I'm sorry, there were times when he would have to fight, say, and this is my pick, giant insects, or arthropods, I guess, because there's a spider involved. So my picks are the Kamacuras, which are the giant praying mantis, and Kumanga, which was the giant spider from Son of Godzilla. And to be fair, I kind of like Kumanga, because, you know, he's this big, thick tarantula.
Oh, like 2C thick?
Thick
Like, oh
tarantula.
man, thick. That tarantula has an ass.
Yeah.
Is that apple bottom?
Yeah.
Apple thorax?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, but they were just bigger. They didn't have, like, any extra power. They didn't, like, you never thought that Godzilla was in danger of losing. It was just large insects, and they were, like...
But, I mean, to be fair, Godzilla's just like a large reptile. I mean, sure, he has his awesome powers,
Yeah.
but I mean, you don't know, like, Kumanga, like, might have been, like, he just never got a chance to use his, like, uber spiderweb laser blaster. Like, you don't know.
Well, he shot webs, like... They didn't do a whole lot.
Godzilla just like pulled out a magnifying glass to defeat them.
That would have
Just
been,
stay right there.
that would have been a much more satisfying conclusion, other than just like, yeah. And then the praying mantises were just big praying mantises. They just get
I think
manhandled.
that's a felony.
Yeah, Godzilla's committing crimes like killing praying mantis.
Like, that's what he's in court for, like, are you... he gets a summons, Mr. Godzilla!
Well, it
We're gonna
depends.
see you in court.
There are some mantises that are invasive, and you can get rid of them. So the whole killing them is illegal is kind of a myth. Like killing the native species is, but like
I wouldn't know the difference.
So is the giant variety invasive or are they endangered? I feel like there can't be very many of them.
as like if you're
two.
Yeah.
like in the context of the movie, I would say that they're like neither, because they're just the regular kind. It was just like 3 of them got really big from like radiation.
Is that how radiation works? Because, like, I have a job for radiation.
Yeah.
Like, if it's gonna, like...
Yeah, no, I agree with Brandon on that one. If radiation just makes things bigger, I know what I'm putting right in the middle of it.
Exactly.
Look.
Yeah.
I'm very, very certain that you wouldn't be the first person, and as I have it on good authority that that's what caused the Chernobyl meltdown.
So people in Chernobyl are like
I saw this movie where things got bigger when you irradiate them. So like the entire crew of Chernobyl just put their penises in the reactor core.
Oh, yeah. And that's what caused the mess. It's like, what? Well, we overloaded it.
There's so many dicks in here.
We overloaded the Chernobyl reactor.
It overheated because it was so hot and bothered from all those dicks.
As to what he said, my least favorite Godzilla villain is in that vein too. It's Abira. And it's literally just a giant lobster. That's all it is. It's just a giant lobster. Its first appearance was in Abira Horror of the Deep, which, as Noah, before the show, pointed out in like a 20-minute dialogue that it was supposed to be a King Kong movie.
It's true.
But they threw it out because Godzilla is cooler.
Well, yeah.
Godzilla just kind of fucking wastes the thing. Like, it's pointless because Godzilla just whoops its ass because it has no powers. It's literally just a giant lobster.
Yeah, and it only scuttles, so
Yeah.
it knows where it's gonna go.
Yeah, I know what's happening here. I mean, Godzilla got a sweet dinner to take home to his wife afterwards. But yeah, and then it appears again in All Monsters Attack, but it's just stock footage from Horror of the Deep.
Yeah.
Where Godzilla's just like whooping its ass, and that's really all it's there for. That's it. It's just there to get its ass kicked.
Yeah, it's in Final Wars for a couple of minutes too, and again it just gets its ass kicked because it's a giant lobster and not much else.
That's like his version of like going to Red Lobster. He's like looking in the tank. Godzilla's like, I want that one.
And it tries to get away, but really Godzilla's like, no, you can't go anywhere.
Like the ultimate attack, Godzilla's rubber band attack.
Yeah.
No!
So actually it's probably more like a drama where Abira's just trying to get by in life and Godzilla's like, well, I'm hungry. Time to kill you.
Yeah, he uses radiation breath to heat the water.
Yeah.
So it becomes that nice crispy red.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Served with a lemon and drawn butter. Ooh, that's tasty.
Yep, that's what happens.
That's what happens. Just Godzilla raids Tokyo to get like just a shipment full of butter.
That's probably why he's constantly in Tokyo.
And
He's just like, well, I need food.
I found this ocean with giant irradiated lobsters.
Yeah.
I have to have something to put on them.
And then when I don't find them, I'm going to destroy your city until you give me more.
Give me more butter.
Yeah.
We've now cracked the code. This whole thing about Godzilla is the search for butter.
Yeah. It's not some like commentary on the nuclear bomb. It's
No.
literally Godzilla just wants butter.
All right.
What's your pick?
So my pick actually shows up in every Godzilla movie.
Not every.
Every Godzilla movie, my pick does. It's the Japanese Defense Force. They're the most ineffectual military of all time. In every one, they come out with tanks, planes, bombers, rockets, missiles, tons of foot soldiers.
All of which just shoot bottle caps at Godzilla.
Basically, and he just goes, roar, and you see some smoke, and then he lays waste to everyone in a uniform. There's not a single soldier left alive. The Japanese Defense Force is completely and utterly ineffectual.
Yeah.
They would be better off sending like just squadrons of small like people riding like the Zemzem cars. Like they would have more like at least it would confuse Godzilla. He'd be like, oh, why are there clowns in Zemzem cars? They crushed? I don't even know.
It's kind of entertaining. I guess I'm gonna watch
But at least it would confuse them. But no, the Japanese Defense Force, completely ineffectual, worst villain ever.
I mean, I get that, but like, you know, throughout the films, like they do continually try new things
And fail!
Yeah, but they're still trying. Like those weird laser gun trucks with they've got like
the satellites on them.
Yeah, the satellites that shoot lasers. Like,
didn't they have one that like shot like sound waves or something at Godzilla?
I think so, but like none of they don't even make
sonic
sense.
waves.
Like even from a logistic standpoint, but at least they tried.
Yeah.
You know,
My question: they never just tried to drop another nuke on him.
Well, they've.
Because they're in
That
Tokyo.
has come up in several movies, and they're in Japan, and that's a very sore subject.
Sure, but I mean, you got to get rid of him somehow.
Well, okay.
Obviously
Just
not.
feed it to him. Be
Well,
like, we've got your butter, we've got your lobster. Eat this, and you just have a nuclear warhead in there,
Well,
and then you detonate it in his stomach.
Well, this isn't Toho canon, but in Gareth Edwards' version of Godzilla, they said that the nuclear testing in the Pacific was not actually nuclear testing. They were actually dropping nukes on Godzilla,
Oh yeah, okay.
and it didn't work. It just like he didn't even notice that.
He was just like
Ow!
sleeping in the just.
This is like,
Yeah.
cut it out.
Fucking
Sharp
sharks.
point. No matter how much the JDF does, they suck.
That is true. They did temporarily win in Shin Godzilla.
Ooh,
For
temporarily.
like a half.
Oh no! That's how it ends. Is they freeze him.
Yeah.
They freeze him solid.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
Like, for how long they leave that open ended, but they come up with this really elaborately detailed plan,
That's true. That's true.
and like they execute it to a T. And that is the first and only time I think that they have actually won.
Well, I mean, I don't know that they. I can't really.
Well,
call
wait,
that a win.
or like, okay, in Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1985, they do manage to trick him into, like, falling into a volcano. Does that count?
Hey, dude, come up here. No, really.
No, you gotta
That's so
check
cool. There's
this out.
something in here you gotta look at.
Well,
Is it more lobster?
Way
You gotta
down
get
there.
Way in there, and then just push him.
Just saying. Okay,
Whoa.
fine. Maybe once or twice they get lucky, but the vast majority. I mean, for those two successes, like a third of their military is just decimated.
That's true.
I will say though, they are really efficient at rebuilding their city. Like they've got it down to a science.
Oh, I mean, the same contractors that build like the Death Star are like the same
Yeah,
people that
they just
like,
have them. They just have them in like as retainers. Just like, all right, well, it's gonna happen at some point, so we'll let you know.
And now they're like working with Marvel because like everything comes to Earth and starts fucking up New York City. They're like, yeah,
All right,
we're
guys,
here.
you guys are really good
We're
at your
here.
job. So
We're-
let's do that again.
Yep. So
Yeah, because they rebuilt the Death Star in like.
no
a couple of
time.
months.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they had a pretty
And it's the
solid
size of a-
functional skeleton of a Death Star in like 2 months.
And it's the size of a small moon.
Yeah. So clearly they can rebuild
Like,
a
it's
city in
not
like a week.
Yeah, I mean, if it takes you 2 months to build a moon, it's not going to take you that long to build Tokyo.
Yeah, not to mention the logistics of building in space are a lot more difficult. So they could probably have a city up in like a day.
Yeah,
Like a whole city, like a big metropolis city.
done.
Yeah, we're on it.
Yeah. Okay, so
Moving along.
best villain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on best villain. My pick for the best Godzilla villain,
The JDF.
Yeah.
because they never quit.
They don't ever quit.
No, my pick, and this was kind of a tough one, but I have to go with Mechagodzilla. Not so much the Mechagodzilla city from the cartoon, the Netflix cartoon, because that one was super lame and disappointing, but like the 3 incarnations of Mechagodzilla that are in the movies are just badass, especially the first one where it's just got that evil pointy face and it has no remorse. It's just this robot sent to kill. And like when it first shows up, like it shows up and then it breaks Angurus's jaw. Like
That's right. I forgot. It fucked Angus
oh dude,
up.
like even seeing that scene again as an
Yeah.
adult, like it is still like shockingly violent the way he just like rips it apart and then blood spewing out of Angurus's mouth, and you're just like, this is a kid's movie! Why are you doing this to that guy? I like him! But yeah, he shows up disguised as the regular Godzilla, breaks Angurus's jaw, and then goes on a rampage, and like immediately, like, that guy's not fucking around.
Yeah, that is one pissed off Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene later on in that movie where, like, this is after King Caesar has shown up to help, but he's
This
just
is
like,
King Caesar, by the way.
that's right. His only true appearance was Mechagodzilla, but he was in Final Wars for a bit as a enemy for some reason. Anyhow, but Mechagodzilla is just standing on this
Godzilla owes
bridge.
me money.
Yeah.
Got that tenner you owe me? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so we got Mecha G standing on this ridge. And he's just,
Mecha G.
Mecha G.
Dude, he is the original.
Yeah.
The original OG is Mecha G.
Yeah, and he's just unloading on. He's just unloading on it.
Yeah,
He's just helpless.
I remember, isn't that the one where he has like an unlimited number of like finger missiles
Yeah.
and like missiles everywhere?
Yeah.
Because there's like scenes where like he fires off the finger missiles and they're gone, and then the next scene it's just there and he's just firing them off again.
Yeah.
Um,
And at least the original, like, it had to have been so much easier to build, like, the original Mechagodzilla versus, like, the actual Godzilla suit. Because, like, literally, they just went to, like, a hardware store and they're like, I need some HVAC supplies.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need? Like, I need some,
just
like,
need sheet metal.
sheet metal and some tubing.
And bolts.
Yeah,
And
just a lot of bolts. And they're like, sure, what for? Oh, I'm making Mechagodzilla. Sure you are, kid.
All right. Yeah.
And then, like, a couple months later, Anguirus, like, oh, that kid wasn't fucking around.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Anguirus. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I want to
Or
give.
did he actually kill him, or did he just like break his jaw and like
And just
move
left
on?
him?
Yeah, he just ruined his mouth, and then Anguirus scuttles off, and
And
then
That's so
he's just
terrible.
dragging it around.
Oh my god.
He has
That's
to
the
eat
worst.
like
Yeah.
a bottom feeder from
Yeah.
now on.
That's the worst.
yeah, and then the third incarnation of Mechagodzilla from the Millennium series, Kiryu, and this is a concept that's eternally cool to me. Is they find a Godzilla skeleton in the bottom of the ocean, bring the skeleton up, and then build Mechagodzilla around a dead Godzilla skeleton.
Yeah, which is just dope
Yeah,
as hell.
That begs the question of how many Godzillas there are, though.
I think they said that there were like it was kind of like its whole species, and he was the one who like survived. It changes from series to
So there's
series.
no like,
Continuity.
yeah, there's no like straight canon as to how many Godzillas there are.
Not really.
There's this one. Right. All right, Brandon.
Okay, my favorite, Space Godzilla. Because he's Godzilla, but from space.
I mean, clearly anything from space is cooler.
Yeah.
We don't even like. Technically, we wouldn't even have to go into it because it's just space.
Yeah.
Somehow, like, pieces of Godzilla get thrown into a black hole, and then they get shot out of a white hole, and he mixes those pieces parts with crystals, and he comes back to claim the throne of King of Monsters versus of Godzilla. So basically, he's just like Godzilla, but instead of having like rad spikes on his back, he has like big ass fucking crystals that do things, and
Giant like crystal pauldrons.
yeah, exactly. And he like fights Godzilla and loses, but he's still rad as hell because he's Space Godzilla.
And space.
Yeah.
I can just see, like I love the movie, but I can just see it's like in the writer's room where it's just kind of like a really like lazy day, and they're just like, oh guys, we need to think of a new villain. And then somebody over there is just like funneling rotisserie chicken, like
This is
space
Godzilla.
Japan.
Japan.
Around like a drumstick, space Godzilla. Yep.
Don't you hide your light under a bushel, sir.
Yeah.
You are a gem.
Yeah.
Misha, what about you?
My favorite all-time Godzilla villain is Gigan. He's got these giant hooks for hands. They're just giant, like meat
Like
hooks.
hooks.
Yeah, like literally hooks. If you're into D&D, the hook horror from 5th edition kind of looks like Gigan. But Gigan also has a buzzsaw tummy, which is fucking infinitely sweet. And one eye, like the dude from Star Trek.
Geordie LaForge.
Sure.
Boom.
Yeah. That can shoot lasers, so he has eye lasers. And he was the first Godzilla villain to actually make Godzilla bleed on
His
in
own
a
blood?
movie. Yeah, bleed his own blood in a movie. And then he got his ass kicked a whole bunch, and then took like a 31-year hiatus to like get fit, like get swole, get yoked.
He was on
spent-
keto.
Yeah, he was on keto, spending his time just like hitting the gym, and he comes back and he's like slimmed down and dope looking.
Yeah, he's fucking buff. He's
Yeah.
trim. Like
Yeah.
he's cut.
He's goddamn swole. And then he gets his ass kicked a little more, and then comes back with chainsaw hands, motherfucking chainsaw hands.
So, like, basically, he watched, like, the original Evil Dead and
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2, and he's like, you know what, that Ash
like, I want-
Williams
I want
guy,
that.
I want that.
Fucking
Yeah,
he's got the thing.
yeah.
But wait, can we make him like double chainsaws?
Yeah. They're They're two sets of chainsaws, so he technically has 4 chainsaws, but they're giant-sized chainsaws because he's like a 130-foot kaiju with just these like 50-foot chainsaws, 4 50-feet chainsaws, plus a buzzsaw tummy and eye lasers.
Yeah.
And yet still gets his ass handed
Still
to
gets
him.
his ass. He gets his arm broken by a fucking shitty Ultraman ripoff, Jack-Off, whatever. That guy was a tool. And then he gets his head cut off by his own, like, Destructo disc.
Yeah.
So, but he's still pretty dope as far as Godzilla villains are concerned, because they all lose to Godzilla. Well, mine is clearly the best,
I
because
mean, mine's from space.
yours is from space, but mine has chainsaw hands.
Guy gets from space too.
And he has chainsaw hands!
That's true. That's
So, I think, and eye lasers.
true. Giant crystals.
And technically, Mechagodzilla is from space. Space aliens built him. What are you trying to pull? Like,
How many
that's
Godzilla
true.
villains are actually from space? Are they all from space?
most of well,
Okay.
Megalon's from underground.
That's like a beetle. Angus is from underground too, right? Rodan's from a volcano?
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's,
they're
that's
not all from
technically
space.
underground.
Yeah.
So they're either from outer space or underground.
They're in the hollow earth, or they're in like deep space hanging out with like Cthulhu.
Yeah, I guess that makes about sense. Yeah.
Alright, so the next segment will be Godzilla What Ifs, where we pose a question as to like, what if Godzilla fought this, or what if Godzilla did this? So, I'm going to start us off with, what if Godzilla had to be in a committed relationship?
Godzilla versus marriage.
Godzilla versus marriage. Like, honey, I gotta go to Tokyo today. I'm the king of the monsters. And then she's like, well, how about you be king of mowing the fucking lawn? Oh, fine. You never take me out on a date anymore.
I'm always there for work.
I don't want to go into the city to take you on a date.
So goddamn tired.
Next time, bring home butter.
Why do you think I've been terrorizing coastal Tokyo?
They are they are all out of butter. Mainland Japan has no more butter.
We are 200-foot tall monsters. We consume a lot of butter.
Why don't you go somewhere
Yeah,
else?
you're assuming she's 200 feet tall. She's literally just an average human. Just berating
Well,
it.
yeah, and that's like, why don't you go somewhere else? I don't have the money for that. My salary doesn't cover those kind of expenses.
Okay, see, I misunderstood. I thought Godzilla had a Godzilla wife.
See, I did too. Brandon just like threw me for a loop. I didn't realize
I'm just assuming like, you got guy because it's that big dog little dog syndrome, that big dog that's all scary and then the little fucker comes up and it's like and the big dog's scared.
Yeah.
No, Godzilla, the only thing that scares him is this like 5'5" diminutive Latina woman that just berates the fuck out of him.
He does love her though.
Yeah,
And that's why he
at the
does
end of the
what he
day she's
does.
like, "Oh, Poppy!"
Yeah.
And everything's okay.
All right, Noah, what's your what if?
So I don't know. I was thinking like, I don't know, maybe something like what are like Godzilla versus like Aerosmith?
Like from Revolution X, the
Yeah,
video
no,
game.
dude, that's exactly what I was thinking. We're like Aerosmith.
Revolution.
Yeah, like Aerosmith would come out like I'm Aerosmith, and they'd have those like the guns that like just
That
rapid
shot
fire
CDs?
Yeah, and then it would be like and that would go on for like 15 seconds, and then Godzilla would just kill them.
What if his weakness is CDs though? What if like the JDP or JDF has been doing it wrong and they never actually just like fired like laser discs at him and that's what does it?
Well, no, like that would suck because this whole fantasy in my head is just seeing Aerosmith get killed. Like it doesn't really even have to have a Godzilla involved.
Yeah, that's why there's a twist because they win and then you're like, fuck everything. This is why media is garbage.
Because like they're out there, and then all of a sudden, right when they're about ready to lose, like Nickelback flies in from the outer space and helps them out, and you're like, no!
Well, I just figured they'd like as soon as Godzilla starts winning, they'd bust into I Don't Want to Miss the Thing, and then Godzilla would be like, I love this power ballad! And then
I'd be so disappointed.
And that's when like he grabs
starts
onto,
crying and then leaves.
he grabs onto a rocket and starts shooting into space
Yeah.
after an
I just
asteroid.
want to hold you close. And then he's like, oh God, Steven Tyler, your giant mouth makes me happy. I gotta go.
I had this whole scenario worked out where like Godzilla kills Aerosmith, and you just ruined it. And I'm sad.
Like Godzilla versus Bambi. If anybody, I don't know if anybody has ever seen that because I don't know what that was from, but I saw it as a kid, where it's just like Bambi in this pasture, just like grazing for like 3 minutes, and then Godzilla's foot just comes down and kills Bambi, and that's it.
Yeah, I just, in my mind, replaced Bambi with Aerosmith, and I don't know, my world made a little more sense.
Well, we just M. Night Shyamalan to twist on you.
Twist!
Yeah.
They're not even doing anything, they're just like hanging out, like reading the paper, they're dead.
They're all together reading it. Not like with their significant others or their family.
Yeah, they're not rehearsing. Like,
They're just like all together, like, we read the paper together, and then
just
here's Godzilla's foot.
dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, mine now, like, actually seems the most realistic of all of them, just because I know I've seen a fan-made version of it, but I really want to see... I want to see Gamera. Because Gamera is really neat.
He is filled with turtle meat.
We are all eating...
We all love Gamera.
I want to see an honest-to-God... I mean, yeah, Godzilla's going to win. But...
I don't know.
Maybe
Godzilla-
they tie and become buddies. And then it becomes like buddy cop movies.
But, like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Gamera is awesome.
Yeah, like Gamera's living on the wrong side of the tracks, and Godzilla's that really nice, like...
See, I think it's the other way around, because
No?
Gamera's like the friend to all the children.
Fair enough,
So, like,
fair enough.
he's
Yeah.
like, hey, everybody, I'm, you know,
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
the
more
Mr.
sense.
Rogers of the kaiju world.
So Godzilla's living on the wrong side of the tracks.
And he's like,
Well, I mean, that
He's like a street tough from
Yeah.
like the 50s.
that fits his personality a little more.
Yeah, so he's like an outsider. He's like Pony Boy.
See, I'd say he's more like a like Galley.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is-
no.
Well, no,
Yeah,
or no,
well.
he's more like Johnny because Johnny stabs somebody.
Yeah, that's who
so
it was.
Godzilla is
Okay.
but Johnny dies. Pony Boy stays gold.
Godzilla's been beat a number of times.
So okay, so Godzilla is a
if
you know.
Godzilla were an outsider, he would be Johnny Cake.
he would be Johnny Cake.
Yeah,
I feel
there
like
you
he
go.
has some.
There,
But okay.
we've definitively solved that question right here.
Godzilla is well, okay, but until Gamera shows up, and then he becomes Pony Boy.
Yeah.
Then he stays
Then he
gold.
stays gold.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, I want to see Gamera,
yeah.
Godzilla. Like at first they fight. You know, it's like every fucking Avengers movie where it's like, oh, here's the hero, and you're like, well, they're both heroes. Obviously they're
Yeah.
gonna be friends. But at first they have to kick the shit out of one another, and then they're like, hey, we buddies now. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we best friends? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like Gamera and Godzilla like just hold hands and like just saunter off. Anyway, so there's our really weird take on all things Godzilla
And the outsiders.
and the outsiders and Gamera.
Yeah.
And just a whole number of things that got.
Yeah, we made a lot of like, what is it, 7 degrees of separation connections.
Yeah.
That's what we do here at the Rambling Knave.
Here at the Rambling Knave.
So in the comments below, tell us what your picks are. What do you
Yeah.
think is the worst Godzilla villain? The best Godzilla villain? Who would you see Godzilla? Who would you want to see Godzilla fight? And any number of
Maybe
other
he
things.
fights like Godzilla like stops terrorizing Japan and he just like does like a 180 and he comes across and he hits Seattle.
I think everybody's fine with Seattle.
And
then they like cue the Frasier.
yeah, like you see the outline of the space
And then
needle
you
in the
just see
city,
the
and you
outline
see
of Godzilla.
Godzilla coming across, and Roz. That's how he's stopped. Like Roz is like, I think he's cute.
Dear God, Zilla!
Exactly.
Giant radioactive monster nails.
That idea's already taken, so don't put that in the comments.
Frasier versus Godzilla.
But if you like what
I
you
would
see,
watch that.
Daphne foresaw it like a long time ago. She's like, oh, I'm getting a headache. I think Lilith's coming. And they're like, no, it's not Lilith because, you know, she's dead. Because fuck Lilith.
Godzilla could eat Lilith.
Oh.
but maybe Godzilla loves her.
That's who the wife
There
is.
it is! That's who's there! Oh my
Godzilla
God!
marries Lilith.
I don't even watch Frasier, and I just won. So that's how good I am.
That's it. Godzilla marries Lilith, drags her off, and then she nags him to death.
So if you like what you've seen, make sure you bang out that subscribe button, you bang the bell next to the subscribe button, you go into the description below, and you bang on over to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
Do all that
and
internet
please
stuff.
like us. Please. We really need validation from people on the internet.
You sound really desperate.
I'm not. I'm not.
Cool. I'm cool.
I'm cool. Yeah, it's cool. So make sure you... No, that's mine. Bad Godzilla. Get your own beer.
Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends.
So that way you're alerted when the next keg is...
Tapped.
Tapped. Cheers.